Right all, welcome back to Auto Addicts, and today we're going to talk about Porsche 911 Restomods.
Don't mind Jim, he's my brother-in-law waiting for my BMW E9 still to be restored. He's going to be a little while. I've probably been down this road many times. My Google certainly has, and my search history. And when I went on the journey to be able to identify which car to be able to get, I also wanted to look at the price tag, which is obviously a very important one. I didn't want to just dream about it, I wanted to own one. If you're looking for a Singer, you're talking 1.2, 1.3 million entry level on some of the older ones. But more realistically 1.5 to 2 million US dollars I'm talking here. Now if you want to import one of these things into Australia, good luck to you, because you've got 10% import duty up to about 70,000 and then 30% of everything above that. So you're talking minimum late ones and very likely into the twos, particularly for the DLS. Similarly with Theon, north of $1 million. Again, depending on the spec. Now, there's no discounting the fact that they are fantastic builds, right? I'm not taking anything away there. And are they worth it? They're pieces of art. So to some people, they are. What I want to talk about is for the rest of the sort of 70-80% of us that don't really want to drop 2 mil and then take it out on a Saturday when it's pissing down the rain and having a bit of a laugh. So I'm trying to, what I wanted to do was get a car that was cost effective, built to a very good spec, and enjoyable to drive, and which didn't break the bank. I feel that this car behind me, which is my Porsche 911 Retroworks 993 Carrera 4S, so this is a 993 base, so arguably a bit better than the 964. Wait for the comments. It's just a later platform. This is the Vario Ram model as well. And so what I wanted to do is take you through the car today to really show you the level of detail that Rick, very nice chap that runs Retroworks out of the UK, the level of detail that he goes to, both in terms of the interior and also in terms of the spec on the car. Then we'll do the more exciting thing of taking the car out and having a little bit of a drive and a bit of a review on it as well. So thanks very much.
As mentioned, this is the Carrera 4 base. This is in 1996, if I recall. And essentially what they do is they take the front and rear quarters. This is the GRP Kevlar mix, and widen the front arches, proper fat rear arches, which I absolutely love. I mean, the 4S, the 4s are slightly wider anyway, slightly wider track than the Carrera 2s. But Rick makes them particularly fat on the rear end. We've got 7x9s Fouche on the front and 7x11 on the back. Nice deep dish, which we'll have a look at in a second. We've also got the LED headlights. Now, in terms of the engine, we've got we take the 3.6, bore it out to the 3.8. That's done by a guy called Dave Sutherland in the UK. So if we come through to the interior, we've got the Momo California steering wheel, beautiful, with a lovely wood finish there. We retain obviously the existing clocks, but they change all of the fascia here. I mean, you know, you've got new ones on the AC, new one, nice saddle stitching across the top here. You've got this beautiful weave, which was really one of the things that I absolutely love. The radio is the Porsche Bluetooth radio. These are the Works Misano seats, which are absolutely smick with the little ringlets in them, a lot like the GT40, absolutely beautiful. There's also this lovely hand-carved gear knob. I think you can buy these from quite a few people now. Absolutely fantastic. The previous owner put the standard gear stick, but the rubber arm, which is just criminal in my opinion. Looks absolutely fantastic. Obviously 6-speed. You've also retained all of the existing little ashtray. I personally keep my little sports exhaust in there. You've got AC as well, so they rebuild the AC. It works really nicely with the 2 settings. I think it's relatively standard, but they rebuild it because, as we know, on old Porsche 911s, the AC is pretty shocking, but on this, it's pretty good. Existing stalks, and yeah, other than that, the level of finishing, I believe, is absolutely fantastic, which we'll have a little pan around. You've got the Renline brake pads, sorry, not brake pads, pedals, which really add a nice touch there, and the tan leather, I think, looks absolutely fantastic. You've got the same moving through into the back, and yeah, we've got all new headliner and everything. Now, if you've ever had the pleasure of restoring a car, or specifically a 911, you will know that all of this stuff, when it tots up, is extremely expensive. You got to source the parts, you got to get hold of them, you got to ship them, and if you're trying to get anything from the US, forget about it. They're a nightmare at shipping. So all of these little bits may not seem like a lot of work in essence, but they are. For anyone that's restored, it's hard work. So paying someone to do it, like Rick, or any one of the Restomod companies, is absolutely the way to go, in my opinion. In order to pull those guys together, you got your Dave Sutherland doing your engine. You've got another guy doing the paint. You've got the interior guy. It seems easy, but it's a very long process, and particularly if you're getting longer in the tooth, you don't want to spend 4 years doing this. It is an enjoyable exercise, but it's a costly one, and sometimes a bit painful. So here we go. Let's take it out for a little bit of a hack. So here we are out on another boiling hot Brisbane day. AC is pretty good, 2 settings, that's all pretty good. The clutch feel is very light, it's really nice, just enough to give the kids a treat, as they say. Braking is very good. The steering, you can't really move much because it's a standard 993, so it's pretty much fixed in place. The pickup is lovely after about 3,000 RPM, nice consistent power. You've still got power between 1 and 3, just obviously not as much, but it really picks up. You then go and hit this little bad boy. This is the car graphic exhaust. And then you start to get a little bit of backfiring there. Yeah, that's what you want. That's the sound that you want. So yeah, you know, the gearbox, I don't know what they've done with it. I think it's a G50 box, but absolutely fantastic. Really smooth, like silky smooth. And it's not like you're you know, stirring the pot, the cauldron. It's really, it's firm, but it's not like a gear. It's not like a sort of short shift box, which can sometimes be a bit much. So on long drives, which I've done quite a lot of, it's really nice. Seats are really comfortable, the Misano sports seats. What else? The suspension is really nice, actually. It is firm, and you feel planted with these 285s on it. It absolutely grips. And this is the one thing that I like on the 4, right? Now, don't get me wrong, a Carrera 2 and a 2-wheel drive, the GT3s, whatever the Porsche you've got, the 2-wheel drive, I'm not discounting anything from that. But when it comes to the Carrera 4, this is my first Carrera 4, I absolutely love it. I mean, I take the kids out in my car, and I go up through the twisties and up through the mountain, and it's nice to feel planted. And let's face it, if you're a Brit, or even if you're an Aussie in the more wet, humid environment, you want a bit of grip, and you can still get that enjoyment and feel, and then yeah. I mean, it absolutely feels like a cup car when you're rocking and rolling. But yeah, really nice. You get a little bit of burble on the pipe down the back, and yeah, there's no roll at all. You just feel absolutely planted on this. It won't track either. You follow something, it absolutely locks in. It feels fine. You can wind it up round the corner, and it doesn't feel like the rear end's going to give, mainly because of that big rubber that you've got on it as well. So yeah, absolutely love it. What they've done is they've got a really nice blend between comfort, performance, and drivability. You know, like these chairs, the bolsters hold you quite nicely in them. They're not too they don't grip you too much. They're certainly not they're certainly not too rigid, and you can adjust them quite well forward and back. Not so much the bolsters, but forward and back, unlike some of the cup seats, which you can't move at all.
So as a bit of a recap then, you've got, in terms of the choice, you've got the 235s and 275s on, sorry, 285s on the rear for the rubber. You've got H&R coilovers, which are very nice feel, together with a strut brace in the front. And then in terms of the performance, you've got the engine upgrade with the 3.6 up to the 3.8 with the FBD sports cams, the 3.8 miler pistons, and the FBD sports software, as well as I think it's the VMC air filter. You're talking up from about 280 to about 335, which gives a good level of torque. You also get the car graphic exhaust, the car graphic NGT exhaust, which gives a nice level of burble from about 2,000 or 3,000 RPM, really opens it up nicely. And then everything else, you've got the sort of works with sound seats, as I said. In terms of the pricing, you're really nowadays in the UK looking to at least sort of £65,000 for a sort of a Carrera manual, up to sort of 85-90 for a Carrera S. Carrera 4, should I say? Which is slightly less of them around. Yeah, you know, once you've done that, you give it to Retroworks, and I think anywhere, depending on the spec, from sort of 100 to 120,000 pounds on top of that to get it. So you're looking at sort of, you know, best case scenario 165 to sort of 185,000 pounds, which comparatively, I think, to a lot of the others out there is very good value for money. You've got the wide arches, you've got the new front, the new rear quarters, new front wings. You've got all the performance that you need. Now, granted, it's not 700 brake horsepower with a turbo, but you know, do you really need it? You know, I'm here in Australia, got another 3 points. Looks like I'm going to lose my license in a month. So it's a question of how much do you want as a usable sort of everyday or weekend burn, and I find that the 335 with the weight is more than enough, but obviously it's up to the individual. It's not, obviously all of the panels are not carbon, it's a not carbon tub, which is what like some of Singer and the others do, but for a drivable car, I think that the Retroworks is a very well-spec'd, nice finishing, and I'm quite OCD, with the right amount of performance for a Restomod 911. So I hope you found it useful. By all means, ask some more comments, and I can make another video to answer any questions.
So I hope you found that useful, and thanks very much for joining us. Like, subscribe, do all that usual stuff you normally do. See you later.